Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, or Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the house of David, the elect, those men that are doing his work in sincerity and truth, and those fellow believers out there of the house of David. To you all, I say shalom and greetings. I got another lesson here, and it's spiritual because Apostle Tahar did a lesson this morning, but the brother Gabar from our camp here in West Palm, he sent a video to me last night with the clip that Apostle Tahar posted with him doing a lesson on it. But it was some editing that he needed to do, so he said he would do it today. But I told him I was planning on doing the same thing, and Apostle Tahar put it up. Of course, you know what I'm saying? Through the Spirit, he got it out there. But nonetheless, I have that clip of Sweden and their plan to have everyone chipped. Basically they saying they're supposed to be in full effect by 2023. That's what they're planning. But we know it's going to happen in a sooner time. Well, Lord willing, it happens in a sooner time than that, the rate that everything is going right now. But, in that video, the lady talks about how you get vaginal germs on vaginal bacteria on money, on cash, and debit cards. All right, so they're eliminating. That's how you know they're trying to eliminate it all, because they're saying the debit cards as well. But, when she said vaginal bacteria, I started to think, vaginal bacteria, that's because all of this cash that cats is throwing at strip clubs. How's this cash got vaginal bacteria on it? Cats, all this money at strip clubs, man. And they rubbing in between their cats and stuff like that. That's where all of this, I'm like, how you started hitting like vaginal bacteria. But nonetheless, they're saying it has all of these different germs on it. All right. And how much more COVID? They're talking about the amounts of germs that it has on there. So I have here, if you notice, it says banks are undergoing a digital shift. So there's no need for bank branches and ATMs. The financial world will change drastically. OK, and so this is a minister of the regional banks, that says this, all right, like a financial minister. And another clip is about to come up from GMS Austere Man. I guess he said like he dabbles in, cryptocurrency and things like that. And so, yeah, he dabbles in cryptocurrency. And he said this is from one of the heads of a major Japanese bank. And GMS Austere Man, I believe I didn't go and look up the page. I saw that another brother sent this. I believe that's one of the brothers out in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, this brother brought out a great little snippet of an article. Minister about regional banks reorganization, which means they're trying to implement it. Reorganize means to change something that was already set in place. Okay, and we know that the cash system has been, what they say, cash is king. That's been the monetary system that they've been using, however far long ago before they were using coin purses, when they set up the dollar bill after gold and silver, but we know the dollar isn't backed by the gold standard anymore, and it's steadily deflating and deflating. And there was an article that a brother posted a few weeks ago, basically, that stated that this summer, America has spent more money than it has spent in like decades, or centuries, something like that. And that's because they're quickly trying to plummet that dollar, man. All right, they're trying to destroy it by any means necessary. Okay, let me get this real quick. This is Revelation 12:12, and see that's a part of the elite's new world agenda, is to plummet the dollar. See, people don't understand that. See, I'm getting stuff now. Elder Yashawamba just posted something about monetary banks, man. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the sea, of the earth, and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because that he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So Esau, Edom, the elites, all right, of the so-called white nation, they know that they have a short time. They know that the Messiah is making his return. So they're trying to implement their new world order as quickly as possible. So they're coming down with great wrath. That's why you have the COVID going on. You have the vaccines and Operation Warp Speed. That's why you have now these, and this is in Japan. And see, the thing is, what they say about Japan, Japan, a lot of times, it might be, it's a scripture if I'm not mistaken. It's not coming to mind right now, but about Ammon. Basically, Ammon will follow the way of Babylon. That's a lot of times how I can, I've been saying this a lot lately about all the different nations, because they always like to say all the blacks look alike. But, we think the same thing about them, man. All when you see Moab and Ammon, be like, shit, they all the Chinese look alike. You think they all Chinese, but Moab and Ammon are, so to speak, brother nations. All right. And so Moab and Ammon, a lot of times how I'm telling the difference, Ammon, a lot of Ammonites, you'll see them wearing business suits. You'll see them trying to act like Edomites, things like that. And so they follow after the customs of America, man. And so if this is their regional banks, and not to mention, America owes China and Japan. They owe them a lot. They're indebted to those countries. All right. And so when it comes down to it, of they're doing this, all right, they're making a digital shift. OK, which means they're going to get rid of branches of ATMs. And you're not going to be able to go and deposit your money like that. Everything is going to become digital. And see, they might keep the debit cards for a moment, but then they're going to do the full switch to where everything is electronic. And then they're going to try to implement that chip. All right. And so once the video comes up shortly after I get this next verse, you will see that they're trying to make this the true norm in Sweden. And we've been seeing this with Sweden for years now. How Sweden has they were getting the train passes with the RFID chip. They're having chipping parties and they're going into this. But now they're saying they plan to go completely cashless and ditch any type of cash, man. So they can go completely electronic, completely digital, so that chip can take over the world, man. And we know that this is happening according to biblical prophecy. The RFID chip is the mark of the beast. The RFID chip is the mark of the beast. All right. No matter what other Israelite camp tries to tell you differently, no matter what anybody else tries to tell you differently, the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, and it's coming very, very soon. All right. And so these other camps are saying it's Christianity. It's an embargo on Christianity. These things are ridiculous, man. Just because you're a Christian, if that's the case, that means we've all had the mark of the beast already. All right. Many of us who are Christians. All right. It has to be something that is physically implemented into your hand. And when you go into those words, those choice words in Revelation 13 and 16 on down, it speaks about how it's an incision in the flesh, man. All right. They literally take like a modern day awl. All right. They take those little incisors and they thrust it in between. They pierce your flesh. OK, in order to put insert RFID chip, which is the size of a grain of rice, man. All right. This is Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. It says he causeth all. He's going to force this, going to mandate this for all people, no matter how young or old you are, no matter how much money or little money that you have, no matter how, if you're imprisoned or not. All right. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. So you're going to realize that you're not going to be able to make any purchases without this RFID chip, because banks are undergoing a digital shift. So there's no need for bank branches. All right. They call them, when you see a bank branch, they call it brick and mortar. OK, because it's a physical building. But now, they have a lot of online and mobile banking now, to where you can do things over the phone or, you can get on the internet or use a laptop. But it's going to get to the point where it's not going to be, you can't go into a bank. And even now during COVID, how they have it. And I have a few different banks, but two different banks that I primarily use. And they say that you have to set up an appointment just to come into the bank. OK, so which lets you know that that's already a start right there. You can go to the ATM and do your bank, and they even allow you now to get more money out of the ATM than in the past. Because in the past, like certain banks would only have limits. They would have like a $500 daily limit that you can get out of the ATM. But now they have it to where you can get increased limits because they didn't want you coming into the store, which letting you know these are all phase steps. You know, like they have Donald Trump had phase steps to try to get everything back to the norm with COVID. All right, they're doing the same thing to how they were shutting down the banks, setting up by appointments, and then they're going to say, hey, no, we're closing down this bank. You can do everything online. Okay. And so now that's pretty much, the point on that, but I'm going to show the video shortly, but you're going to see these. It says these Swedes is going to say Swedes say goodbye to cash with microchip implants, man. All right. And they're going to use germs to say cash is carrying all of those germs, man. Even with tips and stuff, man. Sometimes jobs you get tips, A lot of people, like a lady gave me, I drive, so a lady gave me a tip in cash the other day. And I'm like, I'll take it. It don't bother me. But of course, they're going to get to the point where they're going to say, no, it's passing COVID-19 now. All right. So now we have to get rid of this. But that's why the hypocrisy in it, because if the cash is carrying COVID, all right, if your so-called vaccine is going to work, what's the problem if COVID is on it? Because at that point, once you take the vaccine, you're supposed to be immune to it after that. So what would the problem of cash be, right? But no, they're trying to get this new world order started, man. So, hey, I'm not going to prolong this. You all get the message, brothers. We know the scriptures over and over again about that one. But this thing is coming, man. It's coming full force. And that's why we're giving praise to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, because the time for the America to fall is coming shortly, man. And the time for this dollar to collapse is coming shortly. The time for Jacob's trouble is coming shortly. And we thanking the Lord for allowing us to see these things before it happens. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. The video clip is coming up, so feel free to check that out. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the house of David the elect. Until next time, shalom.
How dirty is our money? The onset of the coronavirus pandemic is forcing institutions around the world to rethink about one particularly germy surface: cold, hard cash. This is going to be hard to hear, but according to multiple studies, microorganisms found living on the surface of cash and even credit cards range from mouth and vaginal bacteria to flu-like viruses. But what if you can make your daily purchases without touching a thing? Welcome to Sweden, where thousands of people are inserting tiny microchips under their skin so that they no longer have to carry cash, IDs, gym passes, and key cards to get into work.
I have 2 microchip implants, one on the right and one on the left. I got the micro implants because I wanted to be part of the future. I don't need keys, so I'm able to actually open the doors with my hands.
These tiny chips are about the size of a grain of rice, and they're implanted into the back of the hand with a syringe. And so far, about 3,000 Swedes have gotten them implemented.
So in Sweden, you can actually use it to put your train tickets inside. You can actually use it with Scandinavia's biggest gym chain, so you don't actually need to show your membership card. I use it personally as a business card, so you can actually put your phone on my hand and then my LinkedIn pops up.
So who's behind this technology? This is Hans Sepienshowblad, and he's the CEO and co-founder of Disruptive Subdermals. They're one of the leading companies when it comes to developing microchip technologies.
I first encountered chip implants for humans almost 10 years ago. I felt that this is a very interesting technology that we could potentially do some awesome things with. So I bought a bunch online, got together a bunch of friends, and we had our first chip implant party. The number one reason for getting an implant is simply convenience. It allows you to eliminate some of the clutter in your life. Implants can also be used for making payments. For example, here at Epicenter in Stockholm, we use our implants in different vending machines, buying snacks and candy and juices whenever we feel like it.
Microchips may sound too futuristic for you, but Sweden is expected to be the world's first cashless economy by March of 2023. But now, microchips could be used for more than just convenience. They have the potential to change healthcare and the way governments are handling the coronavirus crisis.
I am convinced that smart implants will provide a marvelous value to people who suffer from different health conditions and need to be able to log their vital parameters on a regular basis. It could be body temperature, pulse, blood pressure, and imagine if you could just do that by swiping yourself with a smartphone at any time. For example, the implants that we designed allow people to measure their body temperature. It has some very interesting applications to see how fever is spreading in the population, and I think that we will really need those tools to not least understand the ongoing pandemic, but in particular to be able to spot future pandemics at an early stage.
But how safe is your data in a body chip?
So I'm not particularly concerned about the hacking dimension of implants, because ultimately the processing of data doesn't happen in the implant. It's simply a sensor platform. All the processing happens in the smartphone. That's where the data is analyzed and where it's packaged and presented.
Cybertech experts still cite potential issues with data handling. If data isn't secure, others can access your info. And once it's out there, it's hard to get back. And in some cases, users could even be giving their data away without even realizing it in the terms and conditions that they sign on their smartphones. But with the way technology is headed, we could see a future where microchip implanting becomes the norm.
I believe that I'm going to be able to use my microchips to do payments in the future, identification, tickets.
In Sweden, every shop, in every kiosk, in public transport, there are always these touch terminals where people either touch their phone or their wallet with a credit card inside. So this means that the infrastructure for making payments also with an implant are already there.
The question is, could this Black Mirror type of technology be implemented in other countries? Han's ultimate vision is to take health microchips to developing countries where healthcare systems are less developed, so that people in remote areas with limited access to hospital facilities can just send their health information to doctors around the world to receive diagnosis. But until that technology is fully developed, would you be willing to get a microchip?